Iowa Public Television Sports brings you the big intrastate rematch between the Iowa State Cyclones and the Iowa Hawkeyes. A heated rivalry that now presents the Cyclones with an opportunity to get 3 consecutive victories over the Hawks, a feat that Iowa State hasn't accomplished for the past 52 years. Good evening, everybody. I'm Doug Brown with Tim Johnson, and this is our final match of the 1987 College Wrestling Series, and it's a big one before a packed house in Iowa City.
And we're going to be giving you an address later on in the telecast that'll give you an opportunity to write in with your suggestions, your criticisms, or your comments on our telecast.
And we want to welcome you tonight watching on KOOD in Bunker Hill, Kansas, or WLVT in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It's Iowa against Iowa State, 2 of the top 4 teams, but we can throw out the ratings tonight.
You bet we can, and we've been talking about it all year. Those top 4, the champion isn't going to be determined until a month from tonight in College Park, Maryland. But there has been an interesting trend this year, and those top 4 teams have really had it their ways at home. They've been winning the meets at their home crowd, and tonight we're in Carver, Hawkeye.
And this is where the Hawkeyes have never lost, 39 straight under Dan Gable. But we're not saying that Iowa's the favorite here, are we?
No, sirree. All we're saying is that the home crowd makes a difference. And in fact, Iowa will need that tonight, as Iowa State is favored in more matches tonight than Iowa is. But the home crowd could make it a match almost impossible to predict.
And you know, last time we saw Iowa State beat Iowa 23-12 up in Ames. Well, up there you saw all this power in the middle and upper weight. The premier teams in college wrestling here in Carver Hawkeye Arena. What do you think is going to happen in the early weights?
Well, that's the key, the early weights. Whoever starts hot, it's a good thinking that it'll end hot that way. But extra points somewhere may make the difference.
It's a big one. It's Iowa and Iowa State. A lot of fun from Carver Hawkeye Arena. We're back at Hawkeye Carver Arena in Iowa City, Iowa for the rematch between the Iowa State Cyclones and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Those are the season records and how the teams stand in their long series and what happened last time. Iowa State won at Ames 23-12. There's a full house here tonight. I can see only a couple of empty rows up in the back of the south stands tonight in Carver Hawkeye Arena. It's amazing, you know, this draw, because there are district wrestling tournaments around tonight, and there are a lot of people out here to see these 2 teams go. The matchups tonight show us loaded with All-Americans and top-ranked wrestlers, but those in the first weights are so important. Summon against Martin again. At 126, it's Kelly and Regan. They had a draw the last time. Gibbons against Penrith. Penrith wasn't in there the first time, and it makes a difference maybe. 142, 2 men weighed in, but we would be surprised if we saw anybody but Carr and Kelly. Randall still has the hamstring for Iowa. Gezzy's still a bad ankle for Iowa State. At 150, the top 2 in the country, Krieger and Heffernan. At 158, Carter and John Heffernan. 167, the top 2 again. Rematch, Jackson and Alger. At 177, it's Chipperelli, who has lost only once this year, against Steve Metzger of Iowa State. And at 190, It's Volker against Kane, and heavyweight, this is a different matchup too, as was none 90. Andy Pope is still in there for Iowa State, but Sindlinger is in his 6th match now for the Iowa Hawkeyes at heavyweight. So if it comes down to that last match, and it has so many times in this series, it'll be a different pairing than it was the first time around, Tim Johnson.
I'm so pumped right now. I'm just real excited. This crowd's really got everybody going. This home crowd is something else, and I absolutely have no idea what the outcome's going to be.
This is Bill Rotes. I think we went through the whole first meet mispronouncing Bill's name, and if you're watching up in Northeast Iowa, you knew we were wrong the whole time. We forgot to put an S on Bill's name and pronounce it Rotes. And he's the official. He saw him the first time around, and he's again the official between Iowa and Iowa State here at Carver Hawkeye Arena. We welcome you tonight all across the state of Iowa, this great crowd of wrestling fans watching the 2 best teams in this state, maybe the 2 best teams in the country. And we welcome you on KOOD-TV in Bunker Hill, Kansas. And if you're in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, close to Penn State, you may argue with that top 2, WLVT-TV in Bethlehem. But you can't argue with the situation here. It is such a thrilling sight to see this full crowd, full house, and an excited crowd because of the first matches meaning so much.
Right away, Perry Summit went in looking for that attack, and I think that's so important. He has got to be on the attack here in the home crowd because Martin's liable to really get pumped up and go.
And they went out of bounds. You know, the first period is 3 minutes long, and each period after that is 2 minutes long in college wrestling. 118 pounds, Iowa State is in the red, the lighter uniform if you're watching in black and white. The Hawkeyes with that X on the side, which is the Roman numeral 10, trying for 10 national championships this year, are in the black.
Well, as we talked earlier, Perry Summit the last 2 matches has really made a big move the last 2 times they've met Iowa for victories here. But tonight with this home crowd, Steve Martin has had a month more experience, and that's a lot of time, Doug, when you're a freshman in the lineup. And he's wrestled a lot of the top-ranked people. He's probably really come a long way, not only in his mat skill, but in his confidence.
And as again, we have Summit taking the shot, but it's from an awful long ways out, and he's down rather flat. Martin countering across the back, and so Bill Rotes calls it a stalemate. That's 3 shots that Summit has taken.
Well, Summit's a big meat wrestler, but I don't know whether it's in the home crowd or whether it's home and away, because the last 2 meets he has scored those big victories have been in front of the big crowd at home.
The last time we saw Iowa was in the last dual meet when they beat Oklahoma State. They really stunned them here at Carver Hawkeye. They, at that time, #1 ranked Cowboys, and I think after the results come in tomorrow or the next day, they may not be. I think the #1 team's going to be whoever wins this one.
Could very well be. Martin has to get an attack going. He has to attack and get an initiation going himself in here. You don't see him attacking the legs much.
Summit ties up the one arm. He'd like to work something off it. He's not in a position where he can right now. They trade rather half-hearted shots at the upper leg, and nothing is happening here with about a minute and a half gone and a minute and a half left in the first period.
Well, Summit's made all the attacks. He just needs to finish them. Martin has stopped those attacks, and if he could stop, spin around, and score, that would be to his advantage, but he has not been able to do that either.
A warning against Martin. That's the first time we've had any call that could affect the scoring. Martin was warned. A shot by Martin at Summit's legs right on the edge, but they were both out very quickly. Back to the center. I know the Iowa coaching staff would like to get Martin more active. They want to be aggressive against Iowa State.
Get off the headgear. Go to work, Red.
There's a good shot by Summit. He's in deep this time. Good counter. Good sprawl by Martin.
Well, Martin's stopping the attack once Summit gets in on the leg. He's stopping his motion. He's using the hips to force him down, and Summit's not being able to follow through with his shot.
He got in deep that time, and it was actually no more difficult from the looks of it for Martin to get out than it was in the first 3. So there's still no score.
But you still don't see Martin attacking the legs, and that's what he has to do to score.
Again, 2-on-1 tie-up by Summit. He's a junior from Bloomington, Indiana. His biggest win this year, I would say, no doubt, was against Martin at Iowa State.
Well, this first period's seen 6 shots by Summit versus 1 at the edge of the mat by Martin. No score yet.
We're down in the last 10 seconds. You see the clock ticking.
And you know, this is where a lot of the action happened last meet, right at the end of the periods.
Although it did take us into the second period before the big moves took place. In the third period, yes, it was in the second period when a major move was made by Summit on the near fall throw. Well, it's a 5-point throw.
It's a little different match than it was last time, because at the end of the first period last time it was 4-4. The difference is the same. They're tied, but there hasn't been as much action as far as scoring.
Now, who had the choice?
Get them all. Get all the fingers.
Summit starts on the bottom.
Well, Martin wants to load him up and try those tilt scores, but here's Summit looking for the pin right there. He's looking to stabilize himself. Martin got a little high.
Oh, I'll tell you, it was almost a tough situation there for Mr. Martin. Front headlock by Summit, but he can't make the spin around as we go about 25 seconds into the second period. 1-0 in favor of Summit. One to nothing Summit. Martin of Iowa in the black uniform. This is Iowa and Iowa State. If you're just joining, all you've missed is one escape.
Well, see, what's happening here is Martin is trying to create that over and under, then snap down and go around. He's not going to attack the legs. You see him both go over and under. Well, that's where Summit likes to be too. This will be very interesting. Martin wants to get Summit out of position so he can snap and go. Here's the shot. Now he's got to finish it. He's staying on his knees too long, giving Martin a chance to put the hips in and create that bad position.
Summit is thrown by Martin, but it's not going to work. It's 2 for Summit.
That's a nice job by Summit staying with him there. He stayed with him high on the leg, pressured in, and was able to secure the 2 points.
Now for the first time we're seeing riding time. We go back to the center with 45 seconds to go. There's Jim Gibbons, the Iowa State coach. His wrestler Summit leads by 3.
Right here, the secret here is he stayed with him tight. He didn't let him loosen up, and now he just turned back in for the 2 points right there.
Perry Summit, who has had, as we said, a history of doing well in big matches, even though his record is 6-5 this year, leads 3-0 in the second period over Martin.
You notice he controlled the wrist right there. He's got a spiral ride, trying to keep the hips down.
Trying to load him up for a tip.
Summit's a legger. He likes to put the legs in.
But he's a little bit too high. He's a little bit too high, and the fans begin to sense that maybe Martin can come out the back door here. Shrug him off the top. And it's a reversal. And now Martin is on top.
And that's what I mean about right at the last of the period, a lot of things happen.
And we're right at the end of the second period. A big move by Steve Martin of Iowa.
Well, last year the big move came about that same time, but that was where last meet, that's where Summit threw his 5 points at the end of the second period.
Now we'll find out what happens in the last period. Here's where the pressure is on, a lot of tension. And Iowa State Summit decides to let Martin go and let it be a tie at 3-3. There is no riding time. Summit feels confident on his feet. Surprise you a little bit, Tim?
No, I think this is where Summit knows that he's not going to get hurt, or at least that's the way he feels. Not so much that he has dominated on the feet, but Martin hasn't shown that he's dangerous there yet.
And it's 3-3. 3-3.
Get all the fingers.
These all important opening matches. We have Regan against Kelly next.
You also got to remember that Martin has a stalling warning against him, and Summit wants to pressure him to try to get that call.
You can see Martin trying to get a front headlock if he can.
Gotta be an offense.
But Summit has been able to stay underneath.
Let's go.
A minute and 10 seconds to go. coaching staffs are up exhorting their wrestlers to go here. We're just started at Iowa. Carver Hawkeye Arena with the Cyclones against the Hawkeyes. Martin in the black, Summit in the red, and it's high. And there's a point. A penalty. And now Martin has to take. He has to take his man down because he's behind.
Well, this will be interesting here because Martin now has to attack. He's got to create some offense, and we haven't really seen it yet. Sometimes when that situation happens,
there was a slip by Summit, a real slip by Summit, but Martin was not able to take advantage of it. And they come out even. They're getting a little tired now. We have 35 seconds to go. 4-3 in favor of Summit.
well, Summit's in a position here where he can even take a stalling.
And here is almost a takedown. Summit has to get his leg out. And he has to control on top. Bill Roach says no takedown yet. And he says it's a stalemate. We have 13 seconds to go. It's necessary for Martin to take down to win, but if Martin does take down, he absolutely wins by 1. And there is Summit. He puts Martin on his back.
Well, that's a familiar look by Summit, holding up the arm.
He gets the takedown. No near fall because it was too late, but it's 6-3 in favor of Iowa State. And again, Perry Summit wins a big one.
Summit's been the story for the last 3 meets now as far as starting it off for the Cyclones. You know, Martin just really never got going there.
No, he never did.
Kind of surprised me. That's a good, steady meet. You know, it's hard to beat somebody, a good wrestler, 3 times in a row. You've really got to give Perry Summit a lot of credit there.
Now we go to 126. The last time it was a draw. John Regan of Iowa against Mitch Kelly, against Bill Kelly of Iowa State. And you know that Regan is a shooter, just as he is there. Kelly tends to be defensive, but very, very good in his defensive ways.
Right, we have opposite styles here, and we've talked about this before. We have a person in Regan who keeps the pressure on, who shoots, eventually wears his man down. Kelly is a master at defense, master at counters, and he really uses his counters and defense as his offense.
They lock up again. Kelly likes to get a 2-on-1 if he can. You see him tie that arm and drop off of that, or else cause his man to make a bad move off that combination.
Well, when Kelly does well, Iowa State does well. And, you know, this is, Coach Gibbons says he's the catalyst of the team. If he can get him going, it seems like his team really gets up and goes. So this is an important match for both teams. And as Jim Gibbons points out, it's a key for the Cyclones.
Bill Kelly in the red against an outstanding young 126-pounder from Cedar Rapids, LaSalle, John Regan. Last time it was 5-5. And at the time, it looked like it might turn that meet around because Kelly was heavily favored. Now Kelly has a front headlock. He likes to work off this.
Well, Regan does what it takes on the front headlock. In a front headlock situation, you want to get up off your knees and on your feet, and that's what Regan did.
Kelly complaining about a hand, giving him a little bit of trouble here.
Stand in black now. Stand in black.
They've taken about a minute and a half. We're halfway through the first period. Again, Kelly is in a position he likes.
Yeah, do you notice that he slowed the match down here a little bit, and he's kept it close inside where Regan usually shoots from out. Now, again, I'm pointing out what Regan's doing is good defense.
Let's go, guys.
A good job of getting to his feet.
No points. Kelly takes that arm or controls the head, and he's been able to keep Regan away from him so far.
That's right. He's mixing it up. He's creating some action here, and Regan's not getting his shots that he's almost patented this year.
But on the other hand, Kelly has not been able to make any offensive moves either. And so we're 2 minutes into the match. No score. Now double leg right through by Kelly. 2-0 Iowa State.
Something you don't see a lot of, and something that Gibbons and coaching staff are probably ecstatic about right now, that the offense shown by Kelly right there is so out of character. It was a nice double leg low.
As a matter of fact, there were some big smiles on the Iowa State bench when they saw Kelly go right through to Regan's knees.
Well, you could see it coming. It really slowed Regan down. Right here, he snaps, get him out of position, opens him up. Double legs, controls the hips for 2. Nice setup and follow through. Really caught Regan off guard.
A lot of real drive in there. Now Kelly on top, controls the leg in this position while he tries to ride. He's going to have to move up, though, or be called off. There he is.
Now he likes to be here with the legs on, and he's a good legger.
Putting the power half on.
He's putting a lot of pressure on Regan. He's putting hip pressure. He's putting pressure with that half and the pry.
Stalemate that.
That takes a lot out of you when you're on the bottom like that.
Referee Bill Roach says that's enough, and he brings them back up. We have only 9 seconds to go. Now, this is important. Can Regan get out in 9 seconds? That makes a lot of difference in the way matches go. That's a point right at the end. Kelly's going back to the leg right away. He'll stay there as long as he can. And the period ends without a reply from Regan.
Well, if we're talking about how things start, Iowa looks slow, and Iowa State looks up-tempo right now. Iowa's got to turn that tempo around.
The crowd has not had much to yell about so far, and John Regan decides to stay up on the feet. He'd rather go on the feet against Kelly. That was what the bench told him to do. Try to get to Kelly on the feet. If you can start taking him down, you can beat him, they say. Regan trails 2-0. Kelly had a beautiful double leg takedown. Whoa, heel kick, and 2 points for Kelly.
He's turned into an offensive machine here. That's 2 nice real takedowns, real good takedowns.
Stalemate.
Again, he got Regan out of position, created a situation where he could reach down and pick the ankle. Basically fold Regan up for the 2.
We're in the second period at 126. Perry Summit beats Steve Martin at 118, 6-3. And here's Kelly on top with both legs in, trying to drive against John Regan. Has him flat now.
Boy, he's got a lot of pressure on him, but he's got to start turning him. He's got to start working towards the back right here. He's done the job of dominating. Now he's got to get out and try to turn him.
Kelly moved to the side as soon as the referees began to count on him there. Said you can't pin him if he's lateral. Here's an attempt by Regan to roll, and Kelly stopped it.
Right now, Kelly's in a situation where he's been doing everything right. He's really taken the match away and taken the position away from John Regan and not even giving him a chance.
Use it, Top.
And if he gets out and works to the side, he's going to stay away from any stalling call also.
It's 4-0 in favor of Kelly. He's trying to bar an arm on the near side, you see.
Top man, you're warned.
Here's a warning against Kelly on top. And Roach said you have to use it.
Can't just put the pressure on it. Set.
You can hear perhaps the official. You may be seeing right here, at least in these first 2 periods, why Kelly is ranked second.
He's really shown a lot so far, and when he's on, they say he's on, and tonight he's on, so far.
So far, it's 4-0. Again, Kelly is in on the leg. But he's been warned up there. And power half. He's tough on top.
Right, he does a real good job of stabilizing himself with those legs. He puts the leg down on the mat when Regan's about ready to get out. He really takes the position away from him.
We're near the end of the second period. The bottom man has been warned. Now they've each been warned.
Was that an official warning?
Yes, Bill Roach thought that Regan should have been making better moves on the bottom to get out, so they've each been warned. And Kelly wants the bottom. This is Regan's chance on top. But Kelly leads by 4, and he lets Kelly go.
Well, Regan knows that if he's going to win this match, he's got to take it to him offensively on the feet. It's an uphill battle for John Regan right now.
Because he can't erase the riding time. Kelly has more than 2.5 minutes worth. There's a single leg by Regan. But Kelly's a good counter wrestler. See what happens. He has a whizzer. See what he does. See what Regan does here. He gets the takedown. And it's 5-2.
See, he's going to stay on his feet.
With the escape, it's 6-2. The riding time will count for Kelly. There's no way he can lose that. So you actually have to figure it's a 5-point lead for Kelly. And again, Regan is in. This time Kelly's fighting hard against it.
Tremendous hip action by Kelly. Tremendous shot by Regan, but the hip action of Kelly really put him out of position.
Kelly wrestled an amazing first 2 periods, but of course it's a 3-period match. Kelly's underneath. Here comes Regan. And it's 6-4. And it's 7-5. The escape, and there's a stalling call. And Kelly is going to have to get to it.
What a tremendous comeback here. What a tremendous finish to this match.
It's 7-5. A takedown will bring it within 1 point. In on the takedown comes Regan. Kelly trying to control the head. He's out with 13 seconds to go. They look pretty tired here at this point, and it's going to be Kelly. He gets the riding time. A great 3rd period rally by Regan falls short.
Well, he just started too late there to get the tempo up. It was kind of surprising because Regan really got the tempo going at the end, but he couldn't get it at the first. But you really got to give credit to Kelly for that offensive showing he did in the first 2 periods.
He had a double leg takedown in the first period. He had a beautiful heel pick in the second, and he was up by 5 points with riding time before Regan could make his rally.
Great start by Kelly, great finish by Regan, and the start was just too much to overcome.
Now we have 134, and here is the national champion for Iowa, Penrith, at a different weight, 126 pounds, up at 34, against Jeff Gibbons, and Penrith is in on a single leg. This scramble is not figured out yet. Penrith is trying to turn the way he wants to go. You have Dan Gable up on the edge of the mat telling him which way to go. You see Barry Davis in the background.
Boy, this is really something else. What a chess match.
Really? Nothing.
I've never seen anything quite like that, and both of them had a lot of presence to where they were to keep from getting in trouble, either one of them.
Well, Penrith knows that he has to get something started for Iowa. He's in on a single leg again. Gibbons shrugs it off.
Good shot, but good hip action by Gibbons.
Iowa would love to have Penrith show a lot at 134. Then they would have a solid showing perhaps through the bottom 3 weights. They'd like to know if Penrith is big enough at 134, and this match might show a lot of, go a long ways towards deciding that.
Circle. Both of you, circle. Circle in, Red.
Well, Jeff Gibbons is a real hard wrestler to wrestle. His game is getting better and better. He's good on his feet.
And he's on a single leg, real low single. That's the sort of thing that John Smith used last week.
Right, you wonder how much the films they watch there to create that kind of attack. As I was saying, Jeff Gibbons is good on his feet. He's good on the mat. He's getting better all the time. He's hard to take down. That's a hard person to wrestle.
And Jeff Gibbons is one of the very few people who do a good job against John Smith, or even come close to him, we should say, because Smith beats everybody. Single leg by Penrith. They're trading single leg shots. No points yet. No points yet. Wizard by Gibbons on the edge. Gibbons in good shape now. Unless Penrith can bring him back.
Boy, we have a lot of strategy here. Here's the edge of the mat. Penrith wants to keep him on and keep his knees in.
A warning against Gibbons. A warning against Gibbons, and that brings his brother, Jim Gibbons, out. He wants to talk to the officials. Let's find out what they say.
All he's doing is avoiding it there, okay? He was avoiding the 2, Jim.
Okay, which way did you want him to go?
No, he could have wizarded out of it, but he did not. All he did was try to get to the side. He's warned.
You heard what Bill Rhodes said. He said Gibbons could have wizarded out, and he stayed in. So it's a warning against Gibbons. They're back on their feet again. £134. Iowa State leads 6-0 on 2 opening match wins. And here is Gibbons in on a single with Penrith countering. That's a lot like the first time around, the other way.
And here's where Penrith is dangerous, though. This is not over here. Penrith likes to be here, or if he doesn't like to, he's good there.
And Bill Rhodes calls him off it.
Penrith did a nice job, and it's almost a patented Penrith move to be snaky in there and create some action once he's in the scramble.
And a single leg by Penrith again, but that one was not solid, and Gibbons shrugs it out. Gibbons takes a shot at the corner, just in front of the official stand. We have no score, but I don't know that you could say
no action.
Backing off.
Well, I'm going to say we've had a lot of action here.
19 seconds to go in the first period. Gibbons tied up both arms. 2-on-1. He wants to come in close and push Penrith. But Penrith won the national championship last year at a lower weight, 126. Iowa State has to be happy with the way it started. 2 wins in a row. Summit 6-3 over Martin. Kelly 8-5 over Regan. No score here in the first period. Gibbons gets his choice and takes down.
Iowa State defers.
Oh, he deferred.
He deferred to your son. Takes
There we
down.
are. That's right. That's where you're watching it. Iowa Public Television.
But what Gibbons needs to do right
You've been warned for stalling.
what Jeff Gibbons needs to do is try to control Penrith here. If he can ride him for 30 or 40 seconds and show some control, that'll go a long ways in the match.
Gibbons deferred and Penrith took down. Gibbons is trying to ride. Penrith looked as if he wanted to roll. Switch. Roll. And they're equal. 1-0 Penrith on an escape. Boy, they match up well, don't they?
It's a real interesting match.
Because they're interesting to see. There's a nice shot on the far side by Penrith. And Gibbons is going to have to hustle.
He's trying to scoot those hips. He's trying to scoot those hips and not let Penrith control him. Penrith just got a hold of the ankle to control it. It's going to be 2 points here.
And he got it. Nothing Penrith at 134 pounds, Iowa State against Iowa. The Hawkeye fans haven't had a lot to yell about yet. Cyclones got them started with 2 quick wins in the lower weights. And now we're coming up through 134 to 142. We haven't even reached the nationally #1 ranked people, and 2 at 50 and 67 yet.
Well, he's got to be able to get out to stay in this match. Jeff Gibbons does. And this is the key right here. Can he get out?
He rolled. Didn't want to get caught that way.
Well, Penrith likes to put the legs on. Gibbons is not bad at getting out of the legs. This would be a test of strategy.
134 pounds. The riding time has
in on him.
9 seconds for Penrith. Gibbons reaches his feet, starts the hand fight, comes down again. Penrith trying to put him on his back. Not quite. He's dangerous on top.
Yes,
Penrith
he is.
Very dangerous.
And the longer he stays on top, the harder it's going to be for Jeff Gibbons to get out.
Bill Roach says that one's a little bit too tough on the knee. That's Barry Davis, a star of past Hawkeye teams, up, adding his energy to the festivities. On top again. Penrith on top. It doesn't have the legs in yet.
No, and this is an important position right here. That stand up to a switch.
Gibbons did turn in on him, but
That was a nice move.
Penrith was too much in countering him. He'll manage to ride the period out now.
That was almost a real sweet stand up to a switch. Nice action, and Jeff Gibbons needs to keep it up. Penrith is controlling him right now, but we have the last period here to see if Jeff Gibbons can break into the scoring column.
Well, now the question is, what does Gibbons want to do? He said he himself wanted to start on his feet. He said, no, I want to go down. He said he wanted to go down and then come out and go on his feet. But the question is, can he get out? There's Jim Gibbons, who's not sure.
It's got to be a different situation here, a crucial match, and his brother on the mat.
Jeff Gibbons stands up. He traps Penrith's leg as they come around, but Penrith is still looking awfully good in that leg ride.
You know, this is where it's almost as if Penrith baits him with that leg right there. Jeff Gibbons has to create some kind of different action here. He's got to come out clean, control the arms and come out.
There's a switch. Didn't work. Penrith trying to work Gibbons into some kind of a position where he can put him on his back. He'd like to get back points out of this. Iowa definitely needs him.
Got to use it, Top.
Penrith leads by 3. Here comes Gibbons. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Back points? He's calling him back points. Yes, 2 on the back. But what's happening? Again, back points.
It's 2.
And there's 2. And now Gibbons has Penrith on his back for a second.
That's 2.
2 on the back.
Well,
Let's go. You're down, son.
And now it's 5 to 4.
this was close all the way around. It may have come out, whether they got 2 or not, it may have come out right as far as the difference there, Doug.
Amazing situation. Dan Gable's not at all pleased.
The second one came up with the fingers.
That's right. We had 2 sets of back points.
No.
You counted 2 complete holds.
No. The second one was only a 1 count.
Questionable.
Well, disagreements here at Carver Hawkeye Arena, but it's going to come out this way. Penrith leads 5 to 4, and he has riding time.
Which can't be erased. Right here, he turns that switch into 4 points because he keeps Penrith on his back for 2.
And now Gibbons, with a 5 to 4 situation, has to defend against a single leg shot.
He's actually got a 2-point deficit here. Penrith leads by 2 points. Plus riding time, it's a 3-point lead actually for Penrith.
6 to 4 with the escape.
Right.
Don't just rock him there. Let's go now.
We have just 25 seconds to go. Penrith leads. But Iowa State won the first 2 matches. At 1:42, it'll be Mitch Kelly against Michael Carr. That should be fun.
Black is rolling, Black. You
Warning against Penrith.
Let's go now. Back in the middle.
Back to the center, 9 seconds left.
Circle it up.
And it's going to go to Iowa. With riding time, it's 7 to 4. Penrith over Gibbons, and the Hawkeyes are on the board. Well, here we go. 142 pounds. It's Mitch Kelly for Iowa down at 142 again, while Greg Randall takes care of that bad hamstring. And Michael Carr for Iowa State.
This should be a real run and gun. They both know how to throw. They both not bashful out there. I think it's going to be one of those where everybody's kind of holding their breath. They'll be up in the air, and whichever way it lands.
I don't think either one of them has been out there before a big crowd and a big meet, so that should be just about even. You know, difficult to know how such things does that matter. Timeout, I guess Kelly has a finger in the eye. Kelly came down from 150 and 158 to wrestle for 142 in place of Randall. Somebody pointed out to us this week, what we could have said too is that there's Michael Carr, that McAllister of Oklahoma State came down too. A reminder too that later in the telecast we'll bring you another edition of Best Shot with Chuck Patton. Tonight we'll analyze the technique of Kevin Gresser, Iowa national champion last year. That's after 158 pounds.
Mitch Kelly really likes to control that upper part of the body right there. Look for the underarm spin here, controlling the head, front headlock. He was able to stop the shot just a little earlier with some good hip action.
Both of you, let's go to
I
work,
tell you
guys.
too that we'll also have, there's a throw by Kelly as Carr on his back. Does he have a takedown though? Does he? No, nothing. Now that's the kind of thing that can happen here with these two men up. And Bill Roach said he didn't have control.
No points. Two.
Well, look at that again.
Mitch Kelly gets the hips in and whips him over. Right here, whips him over to his back. But right here, the shoulder, the right shoulder there, Bill Roach said, did not get controlled. And Michael Carr, according to Bill Roach, was on his way out the entire time.
There again is a throw.
The same situation right here. Now, if he can control him back, no. No, he says two now. Is the penalty.
This would be very big if Kelly could lock it up. It could be very big.
He's got a long time to go.
Mitch Kelly got him in a throw.
Okay.
He still had him in there, and it's Carr just trying to keep from getting pinned.
Bill Roach is making sure that Mitch Kelly is not choking him.
It's been so close. Oh, boy. And it's a 5-point move for Kelly.
Let's go. Get off the hips and go to work now.
And that had to take a lot out of Michael Carr.
Boy, it really did, but the alternative was worse for Iowa State.
It's 6-3. Iowa State leads Iowa.
That was, you know, Mitch Kelly was able to take it right back to him on the same move. Michael Carr walked right into that.
There's the first point for Carr on an escape 5-1. He likes to throw, so I'm sure he wanted to be in that position. At the end of the first period.
Well, we'll see if Kelly can do it again here. He's chosen up. Right here, Mitch Kelly uses his hips again. Look at this. He elevates and uses his hips, goes chest to chest, and he was able to bring the chest back on top of him. Great control with his hands and his chest coming back shoulder to shoulder. He was able to stabilize himself enough to score. And holding for a long time, come awful close to 6 points for the Hawkeyes here. But Michael Carr really threw a gutty performance there, kept off his back, got out, got the escape, and now we have a 5-1 match going into the second period.
Well, there was a situation for Carr. He lives by the sword, and he almost died by the sword on that one. And Kelly picked up 5 on a beautiful headlock. And the Hawks now lead in this match 5-1. We have Heffernan and Krieger coming up next at 150.
You know, Carr is dangerous, but Coach Gibbons said that the thing that he worries about is that one mistake in a match or two mistakes. He's very, very talented. He's hoping that that's the one mistake that he was going to make. He dodged the bullet.
Gotta be offense. Let's go, guys.
Definitely a mistake. Kelly doing some pushing, doing very well in there.
Well, here's Carr, right like you said. He likes to throw. Here he is trying to get the double underhook.
Kelly, wrap around, bear hug.
Now here's where that hip action comes in.
But this time Carr has a very good whizzer, and they go out of bounds without any scores. He didn't have an arm trapped in that bear hug, and so Carr was able to reach back and get the overhook, the whizzer, and stay out of the bad situation with 1 minute and about 10 seconds to go in the second period.
Well, you certainly don't see much lower leg attack here.
No.
They're really going upper body. It's a wild match.
5-1. Extra points would make a lot of difference. Underarm spin by Kelly.
And here, yep, he's trying to finish it here.
Couldn't.
Carr did a nice job of getting out. I think
there's a warning against Carr. Just as he took Kelly out of bounds.
Well, that was pretty close to 2 points right there for Carr.
Yes.
Circle now.
Carr wanted to get under the arm. He couldn't clear his head. Kelly looking solid.
Stay
he
in the
looks
middle.
confident out there. He leads 5-1. Carr wants to throw.
Kelly wants to throw.
They both want to throw here. There's a trip. He's driving hard against Kelly, against Carr. He's got him on his back. I think this is a better chance for Kelly.
It's against the clock right now. It's against the clock.
But a 5-point near fall.
Coach Gibbons has to wonder how many times Carr is going to walk into that.
It's down.
How many times he's going to let Kelly get his hips over. Right here, he whips him over. Again, he keeps him tight. Goes chest to chest. Another bullet dodged, but can he come back? He's down 9 points.
But that makes a big difference because it's extra points. This is now major decision territory. We're in the third period, and Carr starts down. At least this time, he's not chest to chest on the bottom. 10-2. Carr has reached for those legs, but he hasn't really gone after them, and I don't think he wants to be up there. Kelly looks terrific on the upper body stuff.
Well, Carr better start looking at coming to the upper body from lower leg attack, something like that, varying it up, but not giving Kelly there. That's what I'm talking about. He's got to start pushing him away, letting him up and score, and he can't go upper body with Kelly tonight.
11-4 and 2. That makes it 11-6.
This is the only way right now that he can get back in this match. And then, if he gets back in, it's a possibility he could catch him. But Kelly has been awful strong with the big move. Toe-to-toe, it's been Kelly.
All right, that makes it 12-6. Carr is tied up in there again. Comes under with a bear hug himself this time. On the duck under. And gets the takedown, 12-8. He wasn't able to clear his head until that time. 13-8 now after the escape. A minute left. Warning on Kelly. You think Mitch is getting a little tired? No. Out of bounds. 13-8. You're seeing, you had a look there at Greg Randall, who is normally at this weight. It's a 5-point lead for Kelly.
You know, I don't know that this is a matter of being tired or cutting weight. I think it's just a matter of changing strategy and getting smart. and staying out of what he just got into again. He's lucky he was off the mat there. Carr needs to change his strategy from his first and second period and keep with what he's been doing in this last period.
38 seconds to go. It's Kelly leading by 5 with riding time that can't be erased. Now again, you see Kelly locked it up.
You gotta go to work.
26 seconds to go. This, if it were at this level, 5-point difference or a 6-point difference, it would be a decision. Now there's a stalling call against Kelly, 13-9. That could take away a major decision. Kelly can no longer take him down for a major decision.
Right.
Unless he does what he did in the first period and take him down to his back. 13-11. Well, he's won 10-3 in the last period, but Kelly has piled up a big
I think his only chance here, Doug, is to let him go, look for the bear hug, and to his back inside 8 seconds. That's what he's going to do. Here he goes, 6, 5. He just ran out of time.
14-11. And the victory goes to Kelly, 15-11.
Boy, it was a big move. Something else there.
2 5-point throws. And the winner, Mitch Kelly, 15-11. He brings the Hawkeyes back into this meet. It's now 6-6 after 142 pounds, and here's the one that a lot of people came to see.
Well, I'm still not over that last match in one way. Your heart got to go out to both of them. Kelly came up with the big moves. Carr came back. What a stage set for this match right here.
Heffernan against Krieger. You know that Heffernan, the national champion, has never beaten Iowa State in a dual meet. Krieger beat Heffernan, the only loss either one of them has this year, and that heel pick by Krieger again almost got a takedown. It's one of his pet moves these days.
The story's going to be told right here, Doug, in this first period. If Heffernan comes out on the attack, well, we've got to meet. We know Krieger is probably going to come out on the attack like he just showed. It's up to Heffernan to create a mood right here of action.
Heffernan, a senior from North Olmsted, Ohio. Krieger, a sophomore from Mason City, Iowa, one of the best wrestlers to come out of Iowa in a long time. He's in on a leg against the whizzer from Heffernan. Where's it going to go?
And it's not much of a whizzer.
Heffernan hand fighting very well. Very well. Krieger can't get him off his feet. Now he did. 2-0. Krieger.
This is where Krieger has really improved over the last year. He has really developed his skills on his feet, and he's against one of the best in the nation. Is Heffernan right here on his feet. It's a telling story. Heffernan has to get up and create some action if he's going to be in this match.
2-0. Krieger. He took him down with a single leg, which might have surprised a few people here. That's Krieger.
In on him.
He's been a bear on top against people this year.
Here's a key right here. Heffernan has to come out hard. He cannot let Krieger get on top, put the legs in, and control the match like he's starting to do right here. Boy, that takes a lot out of you when you let those legs in and you start getting worn down.
Gotta go to something. Gotta go to something. We're for fall, top. Bottom, keep working now.
There's Krieger. He finally has Heffernan back down off his base again, and the official Bill Rotes calls him away. You know, it's hard to call either man for doing something because they're both working against the best there is.
I was just thinking about that too, and Krieger was really working hard high on the thigh there to try to turn him, and Heffernan was working hard to come out of it, and they were going strength against strength there.
Make a move there underneath. Bottom, you gotta go to work.
Now Heffernan's trying to keep that leg out, and clear himself, clear the hips right here. There he was able to do it. And that was the key. He cleared the hips.
And we're back on the feet again, 2-1.
Krieger had him in a crab ride, and the key to getting out of a crab ride is to be able to clear those hips, turn around, and get out of there, and that's what Heffernan did.
Now Heffernan again would like to move in closer because Krieger doesn't like to tie up out here. He likes to work from the open position. And Heffernan would like to get in and lock. work from his position. There's a shot from too far by Krieger that Heffernan couldn't counter. It's 2-1. Krieger, 6-6 in the meet. Well, Krieger is willing to put hands on here in this situation.
Tie up.
2-1. One takedown. Krieger had it. He got an outside single leg on Heffernan in the first period.
Iowa State, your
Starting a little faster in their last match.
Krieger's going to defer.
Defers. Choice, Iowa.
Heffernan wants to go where? On the feet?
Both going out.
Yes, that's what they expected.
There was no score in the last time they met in the
Stay in
first.
the black now.
And
Stay
in
in
fact,
the
it
black.
took down to the last 6 seconds of the second period for Krieger to score his first takedown. He ultimately won the match. A little faster start this time.
Heffernan, who is an outstanding wrestler on his feet, against Krieger, who has become an outstanding wrestler on his feet. Now you see Heffernan with the upper body, the front headlock. He'd like to shake Krieger out of this and get him in a bad spot, but Krieger fought his way out.
Right, and I pointed out earlier what Reagan was doing. Krieger did the same thing. He did not allow Heffernan to control that front headlock with keeping him on his knees. He got right up to his feet.
Krieger's had some neck problems, you know. I don't know whether it's a nerve or a muscle or what. And you saw him wince a little bit on that out-of-bounds position. That's affected him some. Here's Krieger.
On the
Heffernan
single.
in on the leg.
Now he's got to finish this single right here. Heffernan does. He's either going to step back and stutter step, lower his level, or he's going to drive right through, catch the other leg, trip. He's got to finish it here.
Let's go. You got to use it.
A lot of time. He has a minute to finish.
But he really doesn't. He's got to finish it now. Because the longer you stay up there, the longer Tim Krieger has to get that hip action in and the whizzer in, and he was able to dodge a bullet there.
All right, 2-1. Krieger leads. Boy, they've been tough every match. You're beginning to look a little tired there, Tim.
I've been in every one of these matches. It's unbelievable. Our viewers have to be just getting a kick out of this. This is great wrestling.
And I look up at the top of the South Stands, and I don't see any empty seats anymore.
They packed it in tonight. What a great tribute to this meet. What a great year for college wrestling in the stands.
Iowa Public Television, it's the Hawks against the Cyclones in Carver Hawkeye Arena. It's 6-6 after 4 matches. Iowa State won 2, then Iowa won 2. And now we're against the top 2 wrestlers in the country by everybody's standards at 150 pounds.
Let's go. Circle back.
2-1 in favor of Krieger, the man in the red. He got a takedown in the first period. They started this period on the feet. Nobody scored. If you'd like to write in with comments and criticisms about our 11th season of college wrestling coverage, here's the address: Iowa Public Television, Box 6450, Johnston, Iowa. That's our new address. 50131. 50131. We'll show it to you again later. We'll have a little memory run through our college wrestling season at the end of our telecast tonight, too. So stick around. All right, Krieger starts on the bottom. Heffernan is out. It's now 3-1 in favor of Krieger.
You know, there was a lot of action by Krieger there. He stood up, controlled the hands, saw that he wasn't going to go anywhere, went into a standing switch, was able to get the escape there for 1 point by continuing a series of action.
It's very important here on the feet now. Now they settle it. Krieger, arm in the collar, is able to kick his leg away from Heffernan.
You know, it's got to be weighing on people's minds. Heffernan has never defeated an Iowa State wrestler in a dual meet, Doug. And it's coming down to the last minute and 15 seconds for his last opportunity.
They both took shots. Krieger won, then Heffernan followed. Now Heffernan is in on the single, but a good whizzer, a good power whizzer. Oh, a beautiful lip arm out by Heffernan on a takedown, 3-3. That was pretty.
He did what Krieger did to get out. He didn't stay with one move. He got in, he wasn't able to complete it, and he went right into another series, snapped him by, spun around for the 2 points. Nice job by Jim Heffernan. Right here, he went in for the single leg, lifted up, wasn't going anywhere. Right here, he limps arm right here and goes around for 2. It wasn't a snap down, he just got him out of position so much that it affected him like that.
Now 4-3. There was some speculation if Heffernan could take Krieger down twice, he could beat him. That would be the only way. And we have 27 seconds to go. Oh, it's coming down to a barn burn finish. Here's a warning against Krieger. Heffernan has a leg, but can he keep it? 8 seconds to go. 8 seconds. No, he can't. And it's going to be Krieger again. You know, you watch them and you wonder if they've settled anything. But it's Krieger for Iowa State. And we come to the halfway point between Iowa State and Iowa with the Cyclones in Iowa City leading by 3, 9-6. And another thriller between those two. Always low scoring, always tough. 9 for Iowa State and 6 for Iowa.
It really looked like they both had enough left to go another period. It was just like shooting in on 2 rocks right there. Tough man.
Here we go at 158 pounds. John Heffernan, who just saw his brother lose against Stuart Carter of Iowa State, who has been a remarkably improved wrestler. One of the most improved wrestlers in the country, wouldn't you say, Tim?
Oh, he's really developed into a solid wrestler. He starts slow. You don't see him really get going on full tempo until that second and third period. He's good at stalking off his opponent, figuring out where the openings are, and then just creating a mood of dominance.
Remember, at 167, it'll be Alger against Jackson. Nobody going to go away from that one. And Chiparelli and Metzger, then Kane and Volker, and Sindlinger and Koch. No place for anybody to relax. And Heffernan has a pop in the mouth, I think. Well, when we're through this 158-pound match, remember, we're going to come up with Iowa Public Television's special feature called Best Shot with Chuck Patton. And tonight, Chuck will analyze the technique of Kevin Dresser, who was Iowa's 1986 NCAA champion. And right after the meet tonight, we'll have our Wrestling Memories presentation. Look back over some of the high points of the season. 158. Heffernan in on a single leg. Carter whizzers, and they go out of bounds. A lot of difference in physique here because Heffernan is very tall, rangy, and Carter is more compact.
Carter really probably could wrestle 150 if a fellow by the name of Tim Krieger wasn't there. But he has really developed himself and put himself in the lineup at 158. And you know that he's going to be in there for high All-American honors. There he is on a single right here. He's able to really take Heffernan out of position and get the 2 points. He was in strong. Really fought himself in there and controlled that leg and didn't give Heffernan much of a chance to recover. Here on this single here, he just drives through, shoulder drives through, covers the leg on the other side, comes up for 2.
The attendance tonight, Tim, 14,750.
Man.
Great crowd tonight. You're seeing Carter of Iowa State after his first takedown, riding Heffernan. He puts him down flat.
Right, he's controlling the wrist, looking for the arm bars here. He's going to look to try to tilt.
Top, you got to get off the hip and go to work.
Heffernan can't get to his base. Carter brings him right back down again. Wham.
Carter really looks strong. He's starting out even earlier than he usually does here. And this is the first period, and he's really showing a strong performance right here. He's controlling Heffernan, has the arm behind his back, has his hips down. Needs to come out now. Try to put him on his back. Heffernan needs to come up, get his hips off the mat.
Got to use it. Work for a fall now.
He needs to get his chest off the mat, as a matter of fact.
Got to get off the hips and work for a fall now.
You heard the official, Bill Roach, talking to Carter.
Bottom, you got to go to work.
And again, Carter flattens him out, takes the arm underneath, 2-on-1.
Right there, Carter is really trying to use that wrist, get the arm behind, and then go chest to chest to try to drive him over. He's not being overly risky, but he's still trying to turn him.
Carter has the arm barred.
Got to bring your base.
Heffernan's really not giving him any reason to worry about coming out front because he's not coming up.
Tough ride by Carter. He got 1 minute and 53 seconds worth of riding time.
We will announce the winners for the sense of
The attendance again, 14,750.
which will be held.
And you see some of the people here in Carver Hawkeye Arena. That little shot over the right, you see it looks like a blank spot. That's press row. That's not a blank spot. There are a lot of people here to see this meet too, from one newspaper or magazine and another.
A lot of them ready to write about that next match coming up.
All right, John Heffernan starts on top. Trying to ride against Carter. He couldn't hold him. Carter
Wasn't
is
able
out.
to stay behind the arms. Carter got good position and came out fast.
I didn't see them make up their minds there. Did Carter defer? Or we were both looking away. We were looking
Carter
at the crowd.
deferred.
Carter deferred.
Or Heffernan
Black,
deferred.
circle.
Carter
Circle,
went down.
Black.
And Carter went down.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Makes the difference because you look ahead to the next match, next period.
You have to say that Iowa State really is in the position they want to be in right now, as far as where the meet is, what they have left, and ahead in this match.
Carter very active too. He's one of the more active of the Cyclone wrestlers on his feet. Works at it, good high crotch. Switch to a double, he gets 2.
What he did so well, he went in on that high crotch, he controlled the leg, and then he cut off the double, stayed close, stayed tight, and drove in. Didn't give Heffernan any opening.
Now they're trying to get extra points here because there's some tough wrestlers coming up for Iowa later on. They'd like to be able to pick up a few extra. John Heffernan, a sophomore against Carter. Warning against Heffernan.
We're looking at one of the more improved wrestlers in the nation.
Really,
From the start of the year to the end, in Stuart Carter out of Columbus. Coach Denny Getz
You've been warned. Let's go.
out of Waterloo, Columbus, had him in high school.
He's been around for, this is his 5th year. He's a 5th-year senior. And he's found a spot for himself this year at 158 pounds in the Cyclone lineup. And he has lost a couple of matches earlier, but he's beaten almost everybody that's beaten him. Lanham, he drew with. He beat the man from Penn State, from Michigan. Beautiful pickup. Single leg, a drop single, a snatch single. And it's 7-1.
You know, Carter, Mitch Kelly, some of the others are good examples of persistence. You stay in a good program long enough, you're going to get your opportunity more than likely. Mitch Kelly, Stuart Carter, they're getting their opportunities this year, and they're taking advantage of it. That's a neat story.
If you just joined us, the meet is 9-6 in favor of Iowa State. The winners for Iowa State, all 3-point victories so far, Summit, Kelly, and Krieger. The losers for Iowa State, the winners for Iowa, Penrith and Kelly. Mitch Kelly.
Well, Heffernan's in on a shot, but you know, he didn't look like he was really convinced he was going to get it right here.
And now Carter's working on the leg across, and this is going to be a stalemate. 5-point lead. Riding time, yes, almost 2 minutes. It cannot be erased. And again,
There he is, in on it. Now he's got to finish it. He's got to convince himself that he can get the takedown here by doing it. It just comes down to whether or not you're going to take advantage of the situation you're in and score while you have the opportunity, or if you're going to sit there and let the other man create a situation where this stalemate comes in. You've got to take your score when you have it.
And now Carter looks like he's in a good spot. He gets a stalemate out of it. He got the far leg again. He reached across and managed to hook it up.
You got my time. You got blood, son. We got to get it cleaned up. He may come over. Get the blood.
So we have a little mop-up job here just for a moment with John Heffernan. And Bill Roach is going to clean up the mat a little bit. You see Dan Gable there on the left. He knows he has ahead of him. He has Royce Alger coming up against Jackson. That's the Iowa State crowd, by the way.
It's not injury time.
And Rico Ciparelli still ahead for Gable's team. But Iowa State has kept them all close and has won 3 out of 5 so far, and is leading here Carter 7-2 over John Heffernan, third period, a minute left.
Stay in the middle, Red, and go to work.
He's got riding time that cannot be erased, so it's 8-2, and so a takedown would make it an 8-point victory, which would give the team 4.
Well, Heffernan, there's the first time
there's
Carter's
a single
been in
leg. He needs to cut off right here. Needs to be able to cut off or come around and change and attack the angle. Heffernan's in a decent situation to continue for a stalemate. Carter lifting up.
Two. No, not two.
There he is, snatches a single there, but Heffernan's able to put the leg straight down on the mat and get out of it.
7-2. Heffernan has been able to keep Carter from scoring, but he has not been able to score himself.
All right, this is an important last 23 seconds for both teams because Heffernan certainly doesn't want to give up a 4 points to the other team.
Yes, a takedown for Carter makes it a major decision. That's very important, but it's only about 13 seconds to go. Not enough time. And so it is 8-2. A standard decision for Stuart Carter, just about the same as last time when it was 9-2. They met the first meet. And Stuart Carter wins 8-2. Iowa State takes the lead. The Cyclones are now up 12-6 going into the last 4 matches. That's the end of the 158-pound match. Iowa Public Television bringing you Iowa against Iowa State. With 4 matches to go, it's the Cyclones 12, the Hawks 6. And we're now up against, looking at the 2 top wrestlers in the 167-pound class, Royce Alger of Iowa and Kevin Jackson of Iowa State. They were rated the other way around until Alger beat Jackson up in Ames. 12-6, the Cyclones lead. They have decisions by Summit and Kelly and Krieger and Carter. And Iowa has decisions by Penrith and Mitch Kelly. And that's the way the scoring has gone. All decisions worth 3 points.
Well, Alger wants to stay up high, get the underhook here, create his own offense, because if you open it up, Kevin Jackson for his double legs, like he did last time, there's hardly any stopping it. I called him a freight train, and if you saw it, you'll know what I meant.
And you saw Royce Alger last time really take Glenn Lanham of Oklahoma State. He pinned him early. There's Jackson, especially a leg shot. Hasn't scored yet. Alger has a whizzer. 2. Some like the way it started last time. Jackson on top.
This is a nice shot, nice single leg, and he was able to stay with it. Royce tried to kick out. Jackson was able to stay with it for the 2.
This is one of the big crowd favorites in Iowa City, as you know. Royce Alger from Lisbon, just up the road. He's been undefeated this year. Each team has an undefeated wrestler. Alger's the one for Iowa. He just got out 2-1. And Krieger stayed undefeated for the Cyclones.
Circle in. Let him in. To the middle. Circle back.
Jackson has been a 3-time All-American at this weight. Alger last year was at 158. And Alger got him in the leg but couldn't hold it.
Well, technically, Jackson probably has to be considered a better wrestler. But as far as guts, determination, Royce is hard to equal. This is going to be really, really interesting.
Saw Jackson lock up. He's not afraid to throw. That's what one of his specialties. He's tough.
Take it easy.
Brings the crowd up on its feet.
Yep, I got it, okay?
You see Barry Davis behind the Iowa bench. He's always up trying to cheer his people on. 2-1. Jackson had a single leg takedown in the first minute.
It must be tremendous to have somebody like Barry Davis' enthusiasm. You know, you've got to be enthusiastic, you got to act enthusiastic. My goodness, with Barry Davis in the room, how can they all help but be enthusiastic in the Iowa wrestling room?
Alger and Jackson. Last time, Jackson got way ahead, and then Alger pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. Seemed that maybe Jackson he said he had a foot injury. Alger just pressured, and eventually there were stalling calls, and Alger won. A great comeback. Single leg for Alger.
You know, it looked like Jackson gave him that leg, so he has something in mind here.
It's like getting a bear by the tail, you know.
He said, it looked like he said, come on, Royce, take this leg.
And it's 2-1.
You don't give Royce Alger that many opportunities like that, but Jackson was able to do it that time and get out of it.
You gotta let him in, Brock. You gotta let him in.
Referee Phil Rhodes is telling Alger to let Jackson in, and so he does. He comes out to the middle again. Jackson has not made a good offensive move here in a few seconds.
No, in a minute.
And Bill Rhodes is watching him very carefully. Jackson leads 2-1.
Iowa State, takes down.
Iowa State takes down. Jackson. His team leads 12-6. We have Chiparelli and Metzger next. Raleigh Kane against Volker at 190. Sindlinger and Pope at heavyweight. The Cyclones lead by 6, 12-6.
Now, Alger would like to control Jackson here. He'd like to keep him down and show some control, get some riding time.
He handled him very well with that tight waist.
Right, that's definitely not what Jackson had in mind when he chose down, though. I'm sure he had in mind exploding out and getting 1 point.
You're on Iowa Public Television. Doug Brown with Tim Johnson. In Carver Hawkeye Arena. Alger on top. He has 20 seconds of riding time. I think bottom man went. Yes, Jackson was cautious.
Set, come in easy. Set. Get on him.
Jackson gets to his feet, but Alger forces him back down again. That tight waist.
Let's go, hustle back. Set.
Alger's really proven right now that he was no fluke in that last match. Of course, his 25-0 record proves that. But this is his second opportunity with Jackson, and I think he's really showing that this is an even match right here.
There's a reach back for the head and got himself loose. And escape makes it 3-1 in favor of Jackson. They're on their feet again with a minute to go in the second period.
Get my time.
A headgear.
Here we go.
Repair. Now
Step
back
in.
they go again. They lock up. Alger in on the leg. Jackson underhooks, fights him off. And again, the headgear comes apart. It's 12-6, Iowa State over Iowa. Jackson here by 2.
You know, we haven't seen Jackson really go for the double legs that single leg shot was about what we saw at the first, and it's kind of surprising.
That's the warning.
And a beautiful move by Alger, a bear hug, and he came out on top. Big move by Alger, makes it 3-3.
Right here, Alger gets the bear hug, covers the hips well, comes around and doesn't let him give a chance. He doesn't give Jackson a chance to throw the whizzer in because he's so tight with the chest.
15 seconds to go in the second period. Alger has been very tough on top.
Boy, was he tough there.
Reacted just so well.
That was a real important move or series right there for Alger because Jackson wanted that last 12 seconds to get 1 point, and he may have given everything he had for that. So last period now, and he got riding time.
A minute and 2. Alger gets his choice. Alger wants down. Oh, it's a big one. It's a big one because Iowa has Rico Ciparelli next. They'd like to get some big points out of him going into the heavier weights. Bear hug. A bear hug, but Jackson was able to throw his weight in there just at the right time. You know, Royce is beginning to look comfortable at 67, wouldn't you say?
I think Royce Alger does not believe that anyone can beat him right now, and that's the difference right out there. His belief in himself, and he knows where he's at, is really putting the pressure on him.
4-3.
That's not the double leg
After the escape.
that Jackson is so good at right there. That was a feeble attempt at his best move.
Whizzer by Jackson, but again, it's Alger in the commanding position.
Alger's got control of the arm right here. He's got the arm trap. Nice job by Jackson coming out of that. That was a nice job by Kevin Jackson. He really dodged the bullet right there because Alger had the arm trap. Jackson was able to come out and face him.
But Jackson has been doing that on defense and not offense. And that's the difference here in the last 2 periods.
It's surprising. The match is 4-3. And it's really been all Alger for the last two periods.
Since the early single leg takedown. We are at 167. Jackson has been warned. And unless he makes a move, I'm quite sure that something is going to happen. There it is. And also, the riding time is not quite a minute. It's 54 seconds. It's not a riding time point. So a takedown by Jackson could still tie it.
He's in on that, but Alger was able to control the underhook and put the hips in to avoid the takedown. Now they called Iowa for stalling there, calling Alger for blocking with the elbow.
6 seconds to go.
No riding time, 5-3. A takedown would tie it for Kevin Jackson.
But can he do it on Alger in 6 seconds? I don't think so. And he can. No riding time. The winner for the second time in this matchup, Royce Alger. So the battles of the top 2 in 50 and 67 go the same way they did last time.
Right, and the #1 ranked people kept their #1 rankings this time.
Now, here comes Rico Ciparelli against Steve Metzger.
You know they're looking for the fall here. They're looking for big points. But Steve Metzger is a battler, he's a fighter, and he'll be the last one to give in to any kind of extra points. So it's going to be real interesting.
It's a 3-point team lead for Iowa State after 7 matches. Chipperelli, who has lost only once this year in an injury default to Booker Benford, former All-American from Southern Illinois.
Out here now, stay there.
And Chipperelli has had no close matches this year.
Circle, Red.
"17 wins, 8 of them by fall. You saw him pin Mike Farrell of Oklahoma State last week, and there's Royce Alger, a winner again tonight over Kevin Jackson.
He's an intense young man. Really keeps the pressure on. You know Rico Chipperelli has that national championship on his mind. He just wants to get on that roll. He wants to get to the Big Tens, win it. He wants to get to the NCAAs and start rolling through. He wants that gold medal for the first time in his career.
The last time these two men met,
I think it was
in
14-5.
it was not the overwhelming score of some of the people thought. It was 14-5, which was a major decision for Chipperelli.
And it took 2.5 minutes in the first period last time for Chipperelli to score his first points. So this is not atypical here. They've gone a minute and a half with no score.
Have an offense.
He's very strong countering people, as you know. If you've seen him enough years now, you don't have to be told that, I guess. You get a hold of him and put yourself right where he wants you.
I got a hold of a few guys like that when I wrestled. More than I'd like to remember.
Let's go, both of them.
Both men are warm.
Both wrestlers called for selling.
Well, we haven't decided it yet.
Circle it,
Before
let's go now.
14,750 people. Friend of yours there, Tim? He's the Rico fan. He has Rico #1 on his shirt. 14,749 people in one gorilla. Chipperelli has the single leg.
Well, he looks like he's right on schedule.
And a takedown.
2 minutes and 20 seconds into the match.
Looking ahead, Raleigh Kane against Volker.
Right here on this single leg, he was just able to pressure down, stay with him, and they called it 2 because they showed control with all Metzger's supporting points on the mat.
Chipperelli likes to cross-face, put that cradle on if you can do it.
Gotta work
He's real
for
tough in
full
that
top,
position.
can't just ride now.
This is an important match for Iowa to win by extra points. And Rico knows it. Everybody in the stands knows it.
Out of bounds, they've used all but 17 seconds of the first period.
There. You may come over.
Metzger has a cut over the eye. I don't think even he knows it.
You have a ticket for section AA, row 6, seat 5, or section C, row 20.
In the long history of Iowa against Iowa State, there have been some streaks. Iowa won 10 in a row up until last year, and Iowa State won 6 in a row in the early years, but you can see that was over 18 years. There were a lot of breakdowns in the series. There were some recently before the 1970s.
Well, I just can't imagine the series never happening or being stalled or whatever. It's just good to have them wrestle. It's good for wrestling.
When you look up, you see all these people.
No.
14,750 here tonight. Chipperelli leads 2-1. They're on their feet with 5 seconds to go.
Iowa, it's your choice.
Choice goes to Chipperelli.
Iowa defers.
He defers.
Red down.
And so Metzger goes down.
Set.
Metzger's a really hard worker. He's got limited skills, but he's a real good kid. Coach Gibbons calls him the kind of kid, the kind of guy he'd want his daughter to marry. And you know, I met his wife, who had just got married to in December, and she's from around where I grew up. She's from Minneapolis, Iowa, so that's good. Her parents now know that Coach Gibbons thinks that their daughter married a real top-class guy. So I hope they're watching and feel good about it.
Stay in the middle,
Probably feel good about the score now. It's 2-2 after Metzger escapes. Chiparelli hasn't put the thunder out yet. There's a nice snap down and 2. 4-2 now in favor of Chiparelli.
Wait a second.
And an injury here. Metzger is hurt.
His thumb.
It's a thumb. He has a thumb wrapped up.
Snapped him down, and he did land on his thumb right there. A pre-injured thumb, as we can tell by the tape.
He's coming back in. A minute 18 seconds to go in the second period. Iowa 12, Iowa State 12, Iowa 9 after 7 matches.
You know, one of the keys tonight was that the Iowa State team would not be intimidated by this big crowd and by wrestling here at Iowa. I don't really feel that they have looked like they've been intimidated.
No. None of the Big Four has lost against any of the other Big Four this year in a home meet. The home team has been able to prevail.
One.
Out.
Well, so far, Metzger's doing what Iowa State really is expecting him to do or wanting him to do. They want him to stay out of scrambles. They want him to control, to stay out of any type of flurry situation, because Rico has a habit of in the flurry, putting him on his back and keeping him there.
That's 2.
And a takedown again. This is the first time that Rico's been ahead by 3. Again, that snap down. Snap the head down and then spin around behind.
Top man in.
38 seconds to go, second period. Metzger gets to his feet. Trailing by 3. Chiparelli lets him go at 6-4. Get a pencil between periods. We'll give you that address again to write into for comments or anything you'd like to say about our college wrestling series. We'll have that between periods. You see the time left. 6-4, Chiparelli over Metzger. Now here's the address. If you'd like to make a comment some way about our college wrestling season, to repeat here, college wrestling. Iowa Public Television Box 6450, Johnston, Iowa, 50131.
Well, in the situation they're in right now, Metzger would like nothing better than to get a ride of about 30 or 40 seconds to keep this thing close. If they get back to their feet.
One on bottom, he's stolen on top. One on bottom.
A penalty against for Chiparelli. Metzger was called for stalling on top.
He's pushing him away like
Nope.
When he's pushing him
All
away
he was doing was locking him off, okay? Coach.
in on him. Come in on top.
Jim Gibbons went out and nothing came of that.
He got to speak his piece of mind.
Chiparelli is out at least to the feet.
Stay on the mat.
That's where Chiparelli wants to be. That's where he wanted to be. There it is. For Rico Chiparelli. That's what he does best, is counter.
What I said, Coach Gibbons did not want Metzger to get in a scrambling situation, and that's exactly what happened there. He was in on the single. Chiparelli was able to hop, skip, jump, go into a scramble, and they ended up with a neck wrench and a pin.
And that's worth 2 decisions. And so now the Hawkeyes lead 15-12, and Iowa State has to win both of these last 2 matches. They have to win them both. But they could do it. And Volker takes down Kane right away.
Move up.
Boy, we come to heavyweight again, I think, Tim.
This is going to be an interesting match here. Kane's a goer, and that really, I think, helps Volker out because he gets going. If it's a slow match, sometimes it hurts Volker.
That's the escape. Here comes Kane. Volker was just able to horse it up. Volker got his head bumped.
Kane's very aggressive. He didn't stand still when he got taken down. He came back up and really put the pressure back on.
Let's see what happened.
Right here, Volker was able to stop, but he hit his chin, came up, and really jarred his neck right there.
He's dazed right now, Coach.
He's dazed. That's what Bill Rhodes is saying. He's dazed. He practically got knocked out there.
Like he hit his chin on the spine, there, right in the center of the back.
Cut it.
But here comes Volker. It's 2-1. Volker against Kane. Iowa now leads 15-12, and those extra points, just as people thought they might, have made a difference. Chipperelli's fall at 177. Here comes Kane. A takedown and a spin around. That's 2! And there is a back point.
He hadn't called 2 yet. He got 2 there at the last. It looked like he'd called too early, but he did.
Okay.
So it's 3-2.
I look down to write down 3, and I look up and I see him call it.
Volker's looking for 2 on a reversal, and he gets it.
4-3 now in favor of Volker. Boy, these have been tussles, every one of them. Now Volker has Kane flat. Where he wants him. Kane gets to his feet. And would like to hand fight him if he could, but Volker takes him out of bounds instead. We have 1 minute and 3 seconds to go in the 3-minute first period. 4-3 Volker.
Boy, this Kane's feisty. Volker really knows he's in for a fight here, and he's got to concentrate and look for good position and good attacks.
15-12. Iowa has come back. And the big one was a fall by Chipperelli. Now they're even. Escape. 4-4.
Stay out of the face now.
Volker ties up 2-on-1. It's a little better 2-on-1. That's what Volker does best.
He's in on the single here. He's looking to finish it. He's got to stay tight.
Nothing yet. Kane countering beautifully.
He kept the opening there, Kane did. Volker did not have it tight enough. Now he's going to finish it. He looks to come across to the double leg to finish it. Either hook it with his leg or come across with his right arm. There he comes. Now he's trying to push across.
Time is a factor, though. He'll never get it before the period's over. And it's 4-4. What a strong first period.
Gable's really into this match. I asked him if he was going to wear the same outfit that he wore against Oklahoma State. He says, I don't worry about that stuff. I just put on what my wife tells me to wear. She lays it out for me. I was thinking he might be superstitious. He's superstitious. He just wears whatever his wife says. That's a pretty good deal. I do the same thing.
Volker starts on the bottom with a 4-4 tie and comes out for a reversal. Eric Volker is ranked second in the country. Raleigh Kane has finally had a chance to wrestle, and he's looking so tough.
He's an old newcomer.
Yeah.
He's been in the Iowa program a long time. He's been out of high school for about 5 years now. He's really getting his opportunity now.
Top, you got to get out to the side. Look for a fall. Look for a fall now.
Out of bounds with a minute and 12 seconds left, second period. Volker on top.
And there's the woman that lays out his clothes right there. His biggest fan, his most loyal supporter, Kathy Gable.
Wearing the black and gold tonight.
Did you expect her to wear something else, Doug?
Well, no, not at all.
Do you think Dan laid that out for her?
Bottom man's moving. Bottom man.
Raleigh Kane.
Set now.
For the whistle.
Set.
Kane was
Coming
cautioned.
behind you.
6-4, Volker over Kane.
Okay, in on him.
Really, Iowa State has to win both these last two matches in order to beat Iowa. And the Hawks need to win one to make it really interesting. All they can do is they'd like to pad that 3-point lead. And so many times it comes down to heavyweight in Iowa against Iowa State. Over the years, so many times.
Well, you know, it really comes down for Dan Gable and Iowa Hawkeyes. This is an important meet for a lot of reasons, but winning 39 in a row, never losing in Carver Hawkeye, has to be on their minds right now and on all the fans' minds.
6-5. Volker by 1.
It's got to be an offense, guys. Let's go.
30 seconds to go.
I'm back out of there now. I'm going to be blocking in there, Red.
You know, you
gotta
haven't
have
seen
an
Raleigh
offense.
Kane, but you know he's been wrestling some tough people.
Well, here, Volker was leaning on a single, but Kane had an underhook there and was able to ward him off. Did a nice, strong job late in the second period.
20 seconds to go.
Neither wrestler is really setting up for a very offensive move right now. They're kind of leaning into each other.
There's the end of the second period. When we reach the end of the meet tonight,
Kicks down.
we'll have
Set.
a look at the season past with our wrestling memory.
Set.
That'll be after the heavyweight match. You get a chance to listen to a little music as we go.
In on him.
Back and look over what happened this year on Iowa Public Television's coverage. Raleigh Kane can tie it by coming out, and he did. It's 6-6. It is now tied.
But Iowa State does have riding time, only by 5 seconds.
And Volker got him with a double leg.
And now that riding time is
Unhook
piling
those
up.
legs now and go to work. Get off the hips. Get off the hips.
That's the second takedown for Volker.
Can't keep
Kane
the
has
pressure on
one.
the hips. Let's go.
You know, you said Iowa State needs to win these last two matches. We figured Iowa State would need to win 6 matches to win this meet. If they win the last 2 matches, that's number 6 for them.
A warning against Volker. Well, particularly because of the threat of a pin by Chipper Elliott,
Which we looked
177.
for.
And we saw it.
Tie your shoe up.
It was an excellent match, even for Metzger anyway, 7-4, and then he got into a scramble, and Chipperelli pinned it. 8-6, Volker leads, but he's been warned. It's just about worth a riding time point. Here comes Kane.
They call it potentially dangerous on the knee there.
Well, I'll tell you, at the beginning of the year, Raleigh Kane wasn't even talked about. You heard about Martin, you heard about Sherritts. You didn't hear about Raleigh Kane. And here he is, 2 points difference right at this moment with Eric Volker. Now 1 point. It's 8-7.
Now the riding time cannot be erased, am I right?
You're right. Well, no, it could be.
Right. He needs to get the takedown here if he wants to erase that.
Volker of Iowa State against Kane of Iowa. Volker again in on that powerful double that he has, but it's on the edge of the mat.
Stay out here now. Stay out here.
51 seconds to go. It's 8-7, Volker. He has riding time. Single leg, low
He's
single leg.
he's got the leg. He has the leg. Now it's whether or not Volker can stay, which he did, stayed with him.
Volker just rolled through. And it's now 10-7.
You know what's interesting? I mentioned it earlier to you. Both coaches feel confident going into the final match. If it came down to heavyweight, we asked both the question to both coaches, and they said we'd feel good if it came down to our heavyweight. Woo!
Well, Eric Volker was just called for stalling on top with 25 seconds to go, and that penalty point makes it 10-8. Volker leads.
But he does have riding time now for sure, so it's really a 3-point lead.
Well, if he got out, he could take down for a tie. And there's a takedown.
There now.
And it's 12-9 with 9 seconds to go.
Set now.
This is going to tie the match, and we're going to go to heavyweight, my friend. Don't go away.
In on him.
I'm not going to.
One.
Volker gets a takedown right at the end.
The point for riding time.
And that makes it with riding time 15-10. On riding time for Volker. And here we go at heavyweight, as we have so many times between Iowa and Iowa State. It's tied. It's up to Andy Cope of Iowa State and Mark Sindlinger of Iowa.
Is this what it's all about? Holy cow. Everybody's on their feet here. Let's stand up, Doug. I think we're the only ones not on our feet.
The Hawkeyes have never lost here at Carver Hawkeye Arena, and they won't unless they lose this one. And Sindlinger against Andy Cope. Sindlinger looked awfully good against Erickson, even though he lost. He took Erickson down, the best heavyweight in the country, twice in the last period.
All right, we have a couple of different styles here. Sindlinger, you don't want to go toe-to-toe with. He's strong, going straight forward and backwards. He's got good hip action. He's just a real good heavyweight. But you saw what I was going to say about Andy Cope. He creates the angles. He goes to the side. He has an arm drag. He hits for the singles. It's different. He wants to create that.
Oh, there. Boy, Sindlinger almost locked up in that, locked up in a bear hug. And he's aggressive.
Well,
what you say is true. Cope, if he's to score, has to go to the corners, as they say.
Right.
He has to get away from Sindlinger's charge and move to the outside.
Well, you know why Sindlinger has that charge. He came off the ball for the Iowa Hawkeye football team for 3 years as their center, and what a good center he was.
Cope locked up for a second and then decided he didn't want to be there. It's a tie. This is for the marbles. Sindlinger in black for Iowa against Andy Cope of Iowa State.
Can't just be pushing now. Let's go.
A minute gone.
They're saying Sindlinger can't just be pushing. He's got to have that offense. I'm looking at Kathy Gable straight across. She's right in my line of vision. She's about ready to fall out of her chair.
Well, Iowa State has won 5 matches. Iowa has won 4. But one of those 4 was a fall.
Now, that was that corner I was talking about. Oh, and there's that.
Good counter by Sindlinger.
Well, I spot Mark Sindlinger's dad.
Here it goes, and Sindlinger took Cope down with a spin around.
Let's go, let's go.
And it's 2-0 Iowa.
Nice hand control by Andy Cope to get out of there. He did a nice job of getting up, controlling the hand.
Remember watching Kevin Sindlinger.
Mark.
Or Mark. I keep saying to say Kevin. But Mark Sindlinger.
7 offense, guys.
Back in high school at Charles City when he was a state champion, you'll see the new
Get him off. Let's go.
Mark
Circle.
Sindlinger's next week when we bring you the Iowa State High School Wrestling Championships. But tonight, here we go with about 40 seconds to go in the first period.
Let's go to work, guys. Let's go.
Cope has not been able to avoid the Sindlinger charge.
No, he's got to step to the side. He doesn't want to go straight on. Cope is quick.
And it's 2-1. Sindlinger got a takedown on the spin around. Cope had one really good shot over on the side, and Sindlinger countered it. Now Cope locks up across the back, thinks better of it, and backs away.
Usually when you come down to a heavyweight match, you kind of have in your mind somebody that you think's going to win. You say, usually it's not this even.
Not here.
Not here, no. This is...
It's down.
That's Dwayne Goldman, 190-pound national champion last year. He finished second 3 times in a row and then finally won the title, and one of the best 190-pounders in the country, now an international team member at 198. Cope starts on top, Sindlinger on the bottom.
Well, talk about hand control. Sindlinger did it there.
And he's out, 3-1. And here we go again on the feet. Sindlinger driving hard. Cope has not been able to counter it yet particularly well. Sindlinger keeps him from going outside. 15 all, Iowa against Iowa State.
Don't be playing the edge now. Don't be playing the edge. Black, you got to let him back in.
Back to the center, you're looking at Andy Cope of Iowa State, whose team at one time led 12-6, once led 6-0. They won the first 2 matches, Summit and Kelly. Penrith and Mitch Kelly won then for Iowa. Krieger and Carter won for Iowa State. Then 2 in a row for Iowa. Kevin Jackson and Steve Metzger, and Rice Alger and Chipperelli. But Chipperelli's was the fall, and that's the difference. And then Eric Volker won for Iowa State, and here we are at heavyweight.
Warning, red!
Here's a warning against
Red!
Cope.
Got to be stepping in.
And trailing 3-1. He doesn't need that.
Don't be playing that edge now.
We have 40 seconds to go in the second period, and Sindlinger leads 3-1. He has the only
Step in.
takedown.
Black, you can't be blocking with your head.
30 seconds.
15 seconds to go, second period. Here's a warning against Sindlinger for pushing with his head, blocking off.
1 black, red story.
1 point.
And there's a point
Goes to Sindlinger, stalling
for
on
Sindlinger.
Cope.
Makes it 4-1. And now it's a 3-point lead.
Well, quite honestly, I don't see the call there. I felt that neither one of them was doing anything. It's questionable. Gibbons is going over to the referee.
Iowa was warned for stalling. Got that. Got Iowa being warned. Iowa was warned at the same
4-1.
time that Iowa
It's come
State
down
was
to heavyweight here.
Okay.
If this lead for Sindlinger holds up,
Iowa State got penalized. Iowa
And
got
Okay,
at the top.
they basically double warned them there. Iowa got warned.
There's a warning against the Iowa State coach. 4-1. If this were to hold up, the record of would remain of the top 4 teams, Iowa, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and Penn State, all winning when they're at home.
And you know, the neat thing about it is Maryland isn't home to anyone, and that's where the NCAA's is. And so there's really no home advantage. You might say, well, the Eastern school, Penn State, will have the advantage. No way, not at Maryland. This whole thing's up for grabs this year.
Pope had the shot, didn't get it. It's 4-2 with a minute and a half left to go. Cope of Iowa State in the red. He trails by 2. His team is tied at 15 all. At heavyweight.
Let's go! Have an offense! Let's go!
And they threw, but outside. They were well out of bounds when that happened. A minute and 4 seconds to go. Riding time is not a factor.
Both you've got to be out here. Don't be blocking off.
It is 4-2 in favor of Sindlinger. If he wins, his team wins.
1 minute. 1.
Before 14,750 people. Pope tried a shot, didn't really reach it. Now we have 40 seconds to go. Sindlinger maintaining position. He's the man on the inside. In effect, he pins Cope to the wall. "30 seconds.
30 seconds. 30.
Here's Cope. And Sindlinger counters him and leads 6-2. And it's 6-3 after the escape, but there are only 5 seconds to go, and Sindlinger wins it. And the win streak stays alive. The Carver Hawkeye streak goes to 40 as the Hawkeyes come back and defeat Iowa State 18-15. And I'll tell you, the difference, as many people thought it might be, were the extra points scored at 177 pounds when Rico Ciparelli pinned Steve Metzger in 5 minutes and 28 seconds. Each team won 5 matches, but one of them for Iowa was a fall. Well, that's something, isn't it? Iowa State 15, Iowa 18 before 14,750 people. Here's what happened. The winners for Iowa were Penrith and Mitch Kelly at 134 and 42. Alger at 167. He beat Kevin Jackson again. Ciparelli on a fall at 77. And Sindlinger beat Andy Cope at heavyweight. That was the winner. And for Iowa State, they started out the way they wanted to. They had Summit and Bill Kelly win at the first 2 weights. They got a win from Krieger over Heffernan, again at 50, and Carter at 58, and from Volker at 90, but it was not enough.
Well, I think the one thing that came through here tonight was Iowa was able to keep their string alive, and the home teams were able to keep that string alive of home team victories. But as far as what this does for the NCAA's picture, I talked to you about it beforehand. I don't think it decides anything. I think both teams will be there in the end, and in Maryland, you're going to see either one of these teams winning the national championship, quite possibly.
Well, we've come to the end of another college wrestling season here on Iowa Public Television with a big Iowa State meet. Couldn't be complete without our traditional musical salute to the coaches, the wrestlers, and the fans. So here's a look at our college wrestling memories for 1987. That feature was produced by John Nichols of our broadcast crew, and we thank you very much, John. Nice job. Well, this is Carver Hawkeye Arena. There's the winning coach. You see that big sigh of relief, Dan Gable. It was a big one, wasn't it? Tim Johnson, he said if anybody won the first 2 matches, they might go away with it. Didn't work.
It didn't work that way, but it was really an exciting meet. I tell you, the enthusiasm in this crowd got me all pumped up, and we really had a good time tonight.
Well, you were saying, too, that this doesn't decide a thing for the NCAAs.
No, I really don't think it does. As far as the dual meet finale here, it just decides that the home crowd made a big difference.
And among the 4 teams that are at the top of the list this year, Iowa, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and Penn State, none of them lost against each other at home.
It was a really neat season in the fact that there was no dominant one team this year like in the past several years.
Boy, a thriller at the NCAAs this year. Let's say some thank yous to a lot of people who helped us out this year. From the University of Iowa, Athletic Director Bump Elliott, Assistant Athletic Director Larry Bruner, Director of Promotions Jim White, in the Sports Information Department, Phil Hattie and Steve Malchow, and Del Gerke, who is the Facilities Manager here at Carver Hawkeye. At Iowa State, Max Urick, Athletic Director, Assistant Athletic Director Dave Cox. Thanks a lot, fellas. Sports Information Man Tom Crushell, Hilton Tech Director at the Coliseum Randy Baumeister. At UNI, Athletic Director Bob Bowlesby, Sports Information Director Roger Crimmins, and Manager at the Unidome Lynn King. And from Drake, Curtis Blake, Athletic Director, Director of Promotions Bob McKenzie, and in the Sports Information Department, Steve Rowe and Minerva Carrillo. Well, once again, that score tonight, it came in the heavyweight match, the final bit, 18-15, with Iowa winning over Iowa State. It came down to the last match again. We want to welcome you to our college wrestling season every year, and we hope you enjoyed it this year. It was a big one. We had a lot of close meets. And next week, we're going to bring you the State High School Wrestling Championships live from Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines. That next Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Plan to watch. You'll see where these great wrestlers come from. And there are some wonderful ones in the state this year.
Well, I'm really looking forward to that because when I was coaching, it was the best 3 days of my life during the year.
And stay tuned for our evening schedule of programming next. First, it's Mind Your Language, then followed by the Gable Touch. You saw it tonight, the Gable Touch, but you have a half-hour documentary on Dan Gable, Iowa's successful wrestling coach. And now for Tim Johnson, I'm Doug Brown saying good night.